grew up in a tough environment. I had 4 different fathers. My mom, she drank alcohol and took prescription drugs. And we had no money, no food. And then the thing that changed my whole life was a knock on the door on Thanksgiving. There was this tall guy standing there with 2 bags of groceries and an uncooked frozen turkey in a pan. And then the thing that changed my whole life, the single event, was a knock on the door on Thanksgiving. We had no money, no food. When I say no food, we had crackers and peanut butter, but not a Thanksgiving dinner, right? And my dad Mom are screaming each other through a door, and my dad had lost his job. You get the knock on the door, and I go open the door, and there's this tall guy standing there with 2 bags of groceries, 1 in each hand, and at his feet, he had an uncooked frozen turkey in a pan, you know? And he said, "Is your father here?" And I was like, "Just one moment," you know? And I was like, it was Christmas morning, and so I go to my dad, and I go, "Hey, Dad, there's someone at the door for you." And he goes, "Who is it?" And I said, "I don't know, it's for you." He goes, "Well, you answer." I said, "I already did, it's for you." So he goes over there, and I'm waiting like with such excitement for him to open the door, and he saw this man, and he was not happy. He looked at this man before the guy said a word, and he said, "We don't take charity." And he went and slammed the door on the guy, but the man had leaned in because of the groceries, and it hit his shoulder, and it bounced off, which made my dad even madder. And they said, sir, he said, "Somebody knows you're having a tough time." He didn't say it meanly. He said, "Sir," he said, he saw me, he said, "Don't make your family, suffer because of your ego." And I can still see it like it was yesterday. My dad's veins on both sides of his neck were just pumping, and he was red as can be. And then he just dropped his shoulders. He took the groceries. He slammed it on the table, and he slammed the door, and he never even said thank you. It took me maybe a decade to eventually figure it out. It became a very useful distinction for me about how he and I process that day differently, because I believe there's 3 decisions you make every moment of your life. You're making them right now if you're listening to me, and so is your audience. But I took that as stranger's care. It completely violated everything I had experienced in my life up until that point. And my brain was like, if a stranger doesn't even want credit for this, and they fed my family on Thanksgiving, I got to care about strangers. And so what I decided to do is someday I'm going to do this for others.